Hey, aloha. Welcome to Korean Natural Farming Office Hours for May 21st, 2023. Happy May. Want to get started. You guys can hear me okay? I think volume's coming through fine, yeah. I just turned the thing down a little bit here, but just making sure. So we'll start off with a little bit of higher wisdom here. See what we got coming through. It's coming to meet. Oh, always a good one here. This one says, darkness reappears unexpectedly. Caution and reticence are in order. It is a dangerous hour. Through an eruption of our inferior nature, darkness has interrupted the flow of light. The inferior can be quite seductive. If we are not resolute in resisting it, the moment can be lost to misfortune. In oneself, this is a time to examine motives. Those which are of questionable honor should be uprooted and discarded. Be wary of situations that engage your ego and tempt you into anger, self-righteousness, or desire. Actively employ your higher nature to test the correctness of tempting ideas and circumstances. That which seems to be suspicious almost certainly is. In your conduct with others, practice modesty, independence, and patience with great discipline. Avoid anger and arrogance at all costs. Withdraw whenever you cannot meet others in a balanced and independent way. Neither encourage another to forego his balance, nor indulge him if he does so. Again, withdraw into stillness if the circumstances indicate the presence of inferior influences. Reticence and self-scrutiny are orders of the day. So, yeah. It's always an interesting one to get, just checking in on yourself. What can you uproot? What can you discard? How can you improve? How can we, as human beings, as a community, coming together, how can we be better? Because life is like, goes up, goes down, goes through these waves, right? You can't always be up. You can't always be down. You always have to go through these waves, even though sometimes they seem more muted and less rough, like less amplitude. But it's always going through a frequency, just like the moon spinning around and coming through. We also go through these cycles and these patterns, just like the sun rising, everything goes through a cycle, right? Plants live, they die. You don't want something to live forever. It would take up space that's unnecessary. It wouldn't evolve. It wouldn't adapt. Making old makes way for the new. So anyway, glad to have you here. Good to see Ben, Mark, Printer Bear, Cyclopath, you guys, and the Goof Man. What's up? I did want to start off. Actually, I had a couple things planned, but with that reading, maybe I'll switch it up a little bit. Luca French, yo, what's up? And Mark's saying that his KNF food pour-off is developing a mold layer on top of thin film. He's still taking 2 tablespoons a day from it. It tastes great. What are my thoughts? If it's a white mold, and white seems okay usually for human, it's not, but if it's black or red, discontinue use. But if you're having something like that, it may be that the temperature is fluctuating up and down each day. You could try putting it in the fridge, or if it's fruit juice tends to go quicker, or not go quicker, but convert to like alcohol and release the moisture because it's so moist. So you could try super saturating it more, adding more sugar to tie up any free water molecules in there. because most likely the molds type things growing, like surface molds growing, are because there's not enough. There's too much moisture, really, and is allowing it to grow, because those things are very, very bioavailable, but without enough water, they won't grow. So if it's a white thing happening, which is what you're saying, you can try supersaturate it more, or keep the temperature from going up and down. Each time the temperature goes up and down, the amount of sugar that can be held in solution changes, and then that allows free moisture to be introduced, which then can create those types of white molds growing on top. So just checking in with that. Yeah, I think I'll start with this, and then the Goofman sent me an email, which I talked about last week, but I found it and I reviewed and went through and checked it out. So I wanted to go over a couple things here, but I got some fan mail. I'm not sure how you guys do it and how you find my address. Apparently it is listed on the internet, and it's a great leap of faith. But my brethren in Oklahoma, Mike Spangler, sent me a box, and look at this awesome, what is this? Medium flat rate box, USPS, and he sent me all kinds of cool things. So it's always amazing, like I do this here of, talking, making this community happen, but then it's always cool when I get fan mail or super chats or these things, and I kind of get, what do you call, like affirmations. I mean, I know everyone enjoys it. I enjoyed it. I mean, just being here, just doing this, but I get affirmations from folks that they really enjoy it on a deep, deep, deep level. And it's cool to get these things. But hey, what's up, George? But he sent me this book here. So there's a bunch of different things. I'll go through what he sent me, but check it out. One Straw Revolution, which I read this book years ago, about 2011, actually. I read this book, 2010, somewhere in that, 2010, 11, somewhere in that time period, I read this book, Masanobu Fukuoka, One Straw Revolution, written by Larry Korn, who used to be a Facebook friend of mine before I deleted Facebook. This is the old cover. You can't even get this one anymore. You have to get this they don't even print it with this anymore. So this is an old, well-loved book here. And I'm so glad to have this, because I had it in my collection. I don't know what the heck happened to it. Sometimes I lose books. Sometimes I loan them to people thinking like this will improve their life, but then it just disappears, and maybe they didn't read it. But I'm so thankful for Mike for sending this here, because if you haven't read this book, it is darn good. It's in the lineage of natural farming. Master Cho's natural farming comes from Japan. I don't know if he ever met Masanobu Fukuoka, but the Japanese natural farming that became Korean natural farming through Master Cho all came, well, not all, like majority of it came from Japan for his base foundation. And then, of course, he refined it by just, prayer, reading the Bible, understanding that, just grokking nature, right? By spending enough time doing it, you learn a heck of a lot more. But I'll read a little bit from the back here. In One Straw Revolution, Fukuoka, today considered one of the most outstanding organic farmers of our century, describes the events that led to the development of his natural farming methods and the impacts these have had on his land, on himself, and on thousands of people who have learnt from his technique. In the process, he has left the very foundations of modern agriculture in splendid disarray. Fukuoka demonstrates how the way we look at natural farming influences the way we look at health, the school, nature, nutrition, spiritual health, and life itself. He joins the healing of the land to the process of purifying the human spirit and proposes a way of life and a way of farming in which such healing can take place, which is pretty much what I'm about here, right? these same things. Like in his stories in here where he like, didn't cut, here's a picture of him, where he didn't cut prune his dad gave him a citrus orchard and he didn't prune it the way it was supposed to be pruned, and he killed all the trees, and just his process of going through and learning and just learning that, nature is always right. Hat tip to Stephen Cornett on that one. But that, like this book had so much impact on me for sure, of just being like, maybe the things we're doing aren't the things we should be optimizing for, which is another thing that, if you're interested in more podcasts, more great channels to look up on YouTube, check out The Great Simplification with Nate Hagens. Hopefully one day he'll invite me on the show, and we'll see. I tried to link up with him prior. My dad tried to get me on the show, but it's all about this great simplification of, in natural farming is the simplification we're looking for. It is a way to live in harmony, get spiritual nourishment, get great food, build great families, educate our youth for what matters in the world. All these things are in this book in this ways. And the great simplification also, goes into the scientific ways of doing that. But yeah, anyway, this is great. So thank you, Mike, for this. And that's just one of many things. And then he sent me some genetics. And that's always cool. One is pink pineapple. The other's blood orange diesel. And so we'll see. These are, CBDs here. You can't really talk about those on YouTube though. But those are non-psychedelic. I think it's legal on YouTube. I'm not sure. Please write the name of the author. Masunobu Fukuoka, you can look up that one, The One Straw Revolution. And then Nate Hagens is an online podcast. He sent me some turmeric tea, green tea. Awesome. You got to get your Zen on. You got to wake up in the morning. And, super grateful for that. He sent me some amazing, this soap here. Check this out. I mean, I know you can't smell it, but just look at the quality of this soap. This is real good soap, you can tell. And it smells so good. So on the rare occasion that I take a shower, and actually I wash my hands a lot more because I deal with some nasty stuff, I will use this soap. So thank you, Mike. Awesome. Amazing. Let's see what else. And he sent me also this hat, which I don't get cold that often, but when I do, you can be assured. And it even has like a little face thing. So if we ever have to wear masks again, mandated masks, this is my go-to choice right here. We're wearing this, but this is awesome. So if I ever do go to the colder polar regions, I visit America, I go up to the mountain, I go up to the, where I need this will be my go-to hat. This is amazing, man. And I think he said somebody made it for him. I think it was some Thai lady or something. I don't know. But he also wrote me an amazing letter. And I tell you what, the more I read this letter, the more I'm like, man, he's just like me. He's dealing with these same issues, these same problems where a lot of this stuff, and it's multi-page, let me tell you. And it's sort of, it's nice. It's heartfelt. It's like, and it's great. And I really appreciate like feeling this connection, because I think one of the main themes I took away from this, not only that are we like super similar to what we're into and like all these, the same struggles that we feel, but one of the main things I could feel from this letter is that, a friend in Thailand knitted the hat. So it says right there. But is that I feel like that we feel that we're kind of isolated and alone, and that this YouTube here, I noticed last week I got disconnected from the internet. My fuse box went out, so hopefully that won't happen again today. But I've been having issues with my fuse box, and there's ants in there tripping the fuses. Is that we feel isolated and alone. And then what I was going to say is when the fuse box went out, you guys in the chat here, there, wherever it is on the YouTube, just continue to chat with each other and continue to have this like community, even without me here. Like I'm sort of like a facilitator, right? I create this office hour. I've been doing it consistently for like a year and a half now, something like way longer than I ever intended on doing this. But it gives people, a chance to talk to each other. And so having this, seeing this, what he's written to me here and seeing this community that I've built here, is just wild. It's something that we need. And like I said, I am working on it. I'm actually really darn close. I've been working on the API integration to actually bring it all in, to everything. So that it actually functions for us. So I'm darn close. I was working on the API a lot last week. It's just a lot to tie together of, boring, not boring, but, I got to make it function correctly and get the APIs and get it all so that we have a place where we can come together properly. So anyway, I just want to say, and then he also sent this magazine. I'm not sure exactly why, but it's kind of cool to check in with Oklahoma Culture and see what's the ag magazine there, and just see, what's going on. And he sent a few other things here. So anyway, with all that, I'm gonna put all this stuff back in this nice little box he sent it in. But yeah, it's so cool to see this community, more than just me doing natural farming or me telling you about natural farming. We're building something bigger than just me, right? I mean, clearly, but it's really this community, and it's really in honor of Master Cho, and what he imparted to me to do is to really build this and make it happen, and build a community. He has always said, make it happen, and so Master Cho over here, right there, and then the Pure KNF Foundation and our sponsors, Reed out there, and the his foundation helping us make this happen and really bringing it to life, like this right here, this today, but everything going on, so, and in the global community, like Solar Gourmet, Willie, James, Janet, these are all names that I recognize because you guys are tuning in, weekly, and it's cool to see this like actually happen that way. So anyway, a little bit of fan mail. I know, maybe that was fun for you. Maybe it was more fun for me. I just wanted to share that with you, to feel this building of community, building of, we're not in isolation. We're actually, together. So building these mycelial networks and strengthening them, because we're constantly getting tilled, right? Tilled. You watch the news, you get tilled. It's like, how do we rebuild those connections and make them really last? And so when I see this, it encourages me as like a leader to be like, yes, I can do more, because it's appreciated. And I know you guys tuning in, but everything just like it all flows together and gets appreciated. So I did want to jump over here. Let's see one time. Yeah, I'm gonna switch this up to be like this, and then I'm gonna jump over here because the Goofman sent me an email here about Electroculture, a new fad or real science. And so I watched one of these videos. I don't know why today it's showing me more videos than this. But I think I watched this one here, and let's just go through. Yeah, this was the one I watched. And basically here he's doing 2 test pots or 3 test pots near each other, and he's running these things. But one thing I noticed is in the very beginning, there was some fake news. So let's just go through a little bit here. I'm gonna speed it up.
Hello friends, in today's episode we investigate the effect of electricity on plant growth. Let's conduct a simple experiment on electroculture and see what happens to plant growth when they're electrocuted with a low DC voltage. Coming up.
So he's testing, is DC voltage going to change it? But right here in the beginning is the fake news.
This experiment can be a very good school project for kids to develop their interest in gardening. Well, this experiment is based on 2 observations. 1. Plants appearing healthier after a thunderstorm, possibly due to the effect of lightning and electricity. 2. Plants growing near an electric power cable generally look greener and healthier. Now,
okay, so basically his first observation of plants, it's based on 2 observations, right? One is that plants look better after lightning storms, and 2, that that the plants growing better near power lines. So I don't know about the second observation. That's something that maybe it is an observation, but the first observation is based off a false premise, actually. Like, so what happens when you get an electrical storm is actually electricity fixes a whole bunch of nitrogen into the soil. When you have an electrical storm and you have a lightning strike, that lightning strike ionizes and is enough to break apart the nitrogen from N2, which is what's floating around. You know, that's always like N2, and actually ionize it and break it apart and actually fix nitrogen into the soil. So all the air that's in the soil, that nitrogen gets blown apart and actually fixes it. And I think it fixes it as like, you know, I don't know actually what element it fixes it up, but it actually, so plants growing near an after a lightning storm actually get nitrogen fixing. So number one, his first observation premise is false, of that, you know, he's saying it's the electricity that makes it grow better. It's not. It's the nitrogen fixing of the electricity. It's not that like there was more electricity shot into the ground. Actually, what lightning is the equalization of the earth, which we consider ground, and the ionosphere, and the which is a high energy envelope, basically a magnetic electric envelope around us, and it's actually equalizing those and reducing the potential between them when those arcs happen. So, you know, it's not more electricity in the ground, because the earth is like what we consider ground, even though we are swimming in a soup right here of electricity. There's so much electricity around us all over, anywhere, you know, like we're just immersed in this. So if you go through, he's basically, I'll just explain this to you. He's basically putting three pots. One, his control is over here, C. This one, he put a 9-volt battery on. Let's just scroll forward. He's talking a little bit about this. But A, he put, I think 6 volts. Or no, excuse me, that's 3 volts, because they're 1.5 cells. So 3 volts of electricity. He put in a 9-volt battery. And then his control, he put nothing. And he's switching them on for a certain amount of time. And he's putting an electrode on either side of the plants. So, and then he's switching these on each day for a certain amount of time. I think 15 minutes a day. But let's just skip to the end here. And let's see his results. Mechanism. Let's see. Where's the results at? Come on, give me the results. All right, we'll just go through this last little bit here.
Exposure time to the DC current and then comparing plant growth. In our next episode, we'll conduct a similar experiment to study the effect of magnetism on electroculture is getting disproved. I'm not sure what went wrong with the experiment. This needs has germinated, and in pot B, there is no definitive signs of germination. You can see in pot B, perhaps due to high voltage, the earthworm is struggling to survive, and this indicates high currents are harmful for beneficial soil organisms. On day 7, you can notice the height of the plants in pot A is still lesser when compared with the control pot C. And pot B, which received 9 volt, is just starting to germinate. So, till day 7, this theory on electroculture is getting disproved. I'm not sure what went wrong with the experiment. This needs further investigation. We'll later post an update on this on day 15. We can even try this experiment using different DC voltages like 1.5, 6 volts, or even 12 volts DC. And the experiment can also be done by changing the length of the exposure time to the DC current and then comparing plant growth.
So basically, he showed that the 9 volts is actually killing the worm, and perhaps bad for soil microorganisms, which is what we're trying to do. And then this one over here, his control did the best. And who knows on that? It's just one experiment. The Goofman did send me a few others. He's commenting here. And one of the core bases of electroculture is that placing nodes in the soil helps it to fix nutrients. So I'm not entirely sure. I only watched that video for some reason. That was the one that showed to me before. It looks like he sent me a bunch more, and I haven't watched any of these yet. So a little bit skeptical to do it here live. I'll watch these things, maybe give you a back of results here. But he's saying, yeah, it'll help fix nutrients. I mean, so I know one thing is that back in my reading, this was when I was reading about Victor Schauberger. He was talking about that using a steel plow is different than a copper plow. Like, let me just look this up real fast. Copper plow, and see if I can find any propaganda on that. But the copper plow, let's see, anything. It's softer, but they were talking about how the copper plow is actually better. So I don't know. Trying to find this live. Oh, here, the golden plow, Victor Schauberger. It's only a 2-minute video. Let's see what we got. Oh, look at this. He's like turning it with its own vorticular stuff. Let's see. Are they gonna say anything about it? It looks like these are just different types of plowing and trying to actually make it go in the vorticular nature of what Victor Schauberger was talking about. These look like different people trying to do these. The golden plow. So I'm not sure exactly what they're doing. It looks like this is just a slideshow. Let's see if we can go faster. Oh, here's somebody doing it.
Schauberger developed a special plow for loosening the soil, which turned the soil inwards centripetally rather than outwards centrifugally. Unfortunately, there is only one model of the spiral plow, also known as the BioPlow. Klaus Rauber of the Association for Implosion Research in the Schwarzwald explains how it works.
With his bioplow, Victor Schauberger copied the way of a mole, faithful to his principle, comprehend and copy nature. This plow works like a mole, which moves the soil centripetally and so moves through it with hardly any resistance. Electron microscope photographs have recently shown that shark skin has a similar structure, enabling the shark to plow its way through the water with hardly any frictional resistance. Victor Schauberger certainly had not seen such pictures in his time. This plow turns the soil twice, first by turning it at this edge and then turning it back again so that the layering of the earth remains intact.
Let's see it in action. Come on, guys.
The merits of plowing in agriculture is ever more frequently debated. Victor Schauberger's backwards turning plow could be the way to leave microorganisms in the soil layer where they belong.
Okay, so they if I didn't see it in action, that was stop. Don't play the next video. But anyway, interesting thing on those, the gold, these things model after mole tunneling. Yeah, gold plows. I don't know. So I don't know on that, on the electroculture of this stuff. I gotta look into it a little bit more. I mean, obviously, one of the huge things is the electrical conductivity of the soil. But I think if you're trying to like manually put power in there, you're at like higher voltages than would be normal. I don't know. I mean, this is just me supposing this, but as you get more microorganisms, your soil does become more electrical. And I think it's the fungus running like, power cords and all these things. Like, I think one of the best wires is to make it out of like a carbon nanotube. Like, I don't know about that, but let's see, carbon nanotube wires. Let's just see what the heck the internet has to tell us on this. Are carbon nanotubes used in wires? Yeah, so they're just building them a few millimeters long, but I think this is, carbon nanotubes can be used as wires, right? A route towards metal-free electrical cables via carbon nanotubes, right? Can carbon be used for wires? Semiconductant. So the fungus, as it's building these like carbon, increasing the carbon content, but like turning it into actual real things. I believe that's what they're doing. Can graphene replace copper wires? Macroscopic graphene is able to outperform copper in electrical conductivity. So right here, like this is kind of, I mean, I'm just like making these huge broad assumptions, but basically like, as the microbes make these you know, carbon functions. They're making these graphene things. They're making these different things with, like, you know, conductivity and changing how the soil works. So you know, so anyway, I'm just saying, like, there is, you know, potential that the microorganisms are actually running these power cables via carbon nanotubes, and that's essentially what a fungal hyphae is, right? Carbon nanotube. You know, you start really getting into that, maybe the whole Earth's alive and all this stuff, you know, turns out it probably is. But let's not let that darken our light here and get too off on these ideas. Yeah, and Ben's talking here about, you know, ideas about wrapping carbon wires around wooden posts and then driving that post in the wire a few feet into the ground like an antenna. And yeah, those antennas, these copper, you can look up copper windings and all these things. Even building pyramids out there, bring in more energy and then disperse it. And there's lots of ways. The electroculture, I think, is there. But I think just putting 2 probes with a copper with a 9-volt battery is not exactly, you know, there's more science to be done here. But I think it's different than how, you know, nature does it. Like, and basing your stuff off nature. It's kind of cool that in that that Plow video they're talking about, well, this is probably better for the microorganisms because it flips it and then flips it back. So you're not actually doing that. I have a let's see, I have a tractor Spader attachment, and what my attachment does is, instead of actually trying to till up the field, I use a machine that looks more like this. So instead of actually trying to till, and here's a Spader machine. Let's see if we can actually look inside. So basically it's like this underneath. Instead of having a rototiller, it has a bunch of shovels all next to each other like this. And the shovels then just like go like that behind your machine doing their thing. So it's, you know, it's driven off your PTO, and it just, you know, it looks like a tiller on the back of your tractor, but it's not a tiller. It's these little shovels. And so here's a little video of them running them side by side. You know, yeah, that so instead of it's just tilling, or it's not tilling, it's shoveling. So the idea is that, again, that's loud. Let's turn that down a little bit. But there's the tiller on the right and there's a spader on the left, and it's spading. So instead of turning the earth over, it's just digging into it. And so this is what I use on, because we don't actually own a tiller. We own a spader on our tractor, because this is, you know, we're trying to respect the microorganisms. So again, instead of tilling and mixing it all in, it's simply just like a bunch of people just shoveling. So this is another idea. Instead of tilling, instead of plowing, you can spade. It's much slower. You got to run your tractor at really slow RPMs, but this is basically, you know, dug down that deep. So anyway, we'll skip that there, but that's the idea too. You know, there's a lot of different farm activity. And you guys are talking about grounding blankets and these things. There's actually a huge, you know, potential in that, of that if you can ground yourself to the Earth's potential, then you're in with the Schumann resonance and all these earth healing things. We used to sleep on the ground. Today we're like in Wi-Fi and getting all this high, which is kind of funny as I'm building IoT things, talking about the Wi-Fi and all that pollution. But basically, you know, if you can ground yourself to earth ground, then you can get some benefits from this. I don't know about this kneipp effect that Nicholas Curran's talking about. Schauberger wasn't going for electrical properties per se, but similar to kneipp effect of drinking distilled water, which he wanted to avoid. Huh. I'll check that out. I'll research a little bit of that. Let me actually write it down so I don't forget. Kneipp. Oh, where's my pen? It's not in my pocket. What happened? Kneipp. K in, where are you? Why is it moving on there? EIPP. Okay, I'll check that out later. Yeah, so, interesting. Okay, and there's a channel that teaches use inverters to pump half volt into the soil. Half volt seems more legit. So, yeah, and grounding, getting yourself, there's a lot of, you can read books on grounding, and there's a lot of potential for grounding, getting into the soil, all that. So anyway, different things. I'll check more into this electroculture effect, but I think that's what the microbes are doing. They're actually, you know, not to say that you can't like artificially pump like a half volt into the ground and whatever, but I think that you're actually, by getting more microbes in the ground, you're actually changing the electrical potential of the ground via carbon nanotubes, via more, you know, if like here I am, I'm a magnetic electric being, right? Like you can detect, like I'm electrical, obviously that's how I'm running. And same with, by getting trillions more microbes in the soil, you actually change the electroculture of the soil too. So often we're used to like NPK fertilizer, like dead soil, whatever. And so we think we got to electrocute it with like electricity, but actually the bioelectricity and you know, and there's a guy, the bioelectrical, like, let me just look up Egyptian bioelectric, because there's this dude, okay. I don't know. Anyway, I did read about this dude that used pendulums and all this bioelectricity, but no, this is different than what I was looking up. But we are bioelectric. What was the guy's name? He was like a Rosicrucian type dude talking about bioelectricity, and the maybe I have to go to YouTube directly. Let me just see here. Hang on. Let me just search Egyptian bioelectricity. Yeah, that one. Let's just see if this dude pops up. Is he there? I don't know, because transition over. But the Egyptians, they were into some weird stuff, like Nikola Tesla building these electrical things. Some of their things look like, you know, an oscillator for electrical energy. It looks like that guy's shadow banned, the guy I was looking for. Let's see. I might subscribe to him. I don't know what the heck his channel was called, but this is looking through this other one. But you know, Egyptians, bioelectricity. Let's see, the pyramids might have been these things. Human magnetism, bioelectricity. I don't know. It's worth researching into to see. Oh yeah, Dr. Kareem. Who? Yeah. Hey, Dr. Kareem. Man, you guys. It's like, you know. I try to. Oh no, this guy. Maybe it's this guy. Yeah, sure. It wasn't this guy directly, but yeah, BioGeometry. It was some other dude. But yeah, Dr. Kareem, this is the dude. Man, you guys, in the Theosophical Society, I think this is the one. But anyway, I was tuned into this a while ago, you know, talking about these energy sciences, this biogeometry training, all this stuff, you know, like yeah, in Ormodization. You got that screen name, Dr. Kareem, yeah. So, you know, if you want to go down a rabbit hole, looking up biogeometry is actually what it's called, but they're talking about these subtle, you know, energy science types of things and these things. Yeah. I don't know. Looks like there's a whole bunch of stuff to explore along these lines. You know, and if you, it was this dude, Robert Gilbert here. He was the dude that I was talking about it, but he's not that. He's like another student of it. But this was the dude Robert Gilbert that I was looking up, but it looks like he's taking Dr. Kareem's stuff and then making it. So anyway, this is an interesting rabbit hole to explore down and getting into this understanding biogeometry, life force, resonance. I was also watching something on 432 megahertz being like the geometry of like all this sacred geometry type of stuff, and how shapes actually have music tones, and then the tones are translated into like frequencies, and there's certain things we can hear, certain things we can see, but then on the more subtle levels they're still in resonance and it's all in key, and when it's actually working properly it's all in key and it's like playing this nice music, and that's what we actually interpret as life, is just like this song. And there's a lot of classic old things that'll talk about that, going through and doing those things. So anyway, some deeper rabbit holes of biogeometry, bioelectricity, these Egyptian things. Dr. Kareem, get into this if you really want to, see about these things. But thanks to Goofman for, sharing back with me and then getting us into this whole conversational topic. And then there is one other thing I wanted to show you guys right now, and that is that right now as we speak, I have Whisper CPP running over my videos, and check this out. It's like translating them, it's transcribing them. So I'm taking what is, when we're hanging out with Master Cho, I'm doing the chicken workshop right now. I'm taking the workshop and I'm just having it translate all this stuff into text. So once it's in text, then it's searchable, then it's sortable, then it's everything. And so here it is, and it's kind of funny because I'll just watch this as it's going through, and I'm using their large language model on this. And it's just reading, here it's starting the next file, going into here. But it's just reading through these video files that I have, right? Bites, talking about a centipede, something, biting somebody. It's going on to the next file here, so these sounds of these chicks mean that they're cold, right? So Master Cho is actually translating that, like he can understand that the chicks, when they go, that they're cold. Like it's just like these nuggets of knowledge that are in all these hours of video that are on my YouTube channel, that are just happening out there that, pushing them with a broom, like all this stuff. So I'm just running these, non-English speech going on, so he speaks in Korean, which I got to have it go over the video again and actually grab the Korean out, but it's going to be not as good as Dr. Park or whoever's translating it. Like, this is okay. The status right now is okay. Before it gets completely dark, you have to come back and see where they are. So seeing, like we're just looking at the chickens to see, them go inside. And I don't know all this, but it's kind of funny to read this as it's going, because I was there, right? And I remember all this stuff and it jogs my memory, but I'm reading these as it's just, it's transcribing these files and bringing these things over. So anyway, just sharing that with you of like, I'm trying to bring more Korean natural farming information to be more digestible, more palatable to all of us. And, they're making this sound because they're cold, but anyway, that's also what I'm doing simultaneously. I'm putting my computer that I have here that's super powerful to better use and having it try to translate all and transcribe all this stuff and actually use it and then ram all that stuff through an AI engine. And but yeah, we're talking about, when the water was refilled, all these things. So it's kind of cool to see going through, running all that, using computers to their maximum potential of helping us to sort through the information, because there's tons of information out there by Master Cho and by everyone. But it's like, do you have it? Are you able to index it? It's just like this biogeometry energy stuff, right? It's like, if you don't know about it and you're not tuned into the right channels or you're not ready for it, then it might just go right by you, right? But then when you're ready and you find the right channel, you tune in, you subscribe, you get all those things, they happen. And then I got also one more announcement since I'm here, and I kind of feel like I spent majority of the day just going over these things, but no one really had that many questions today, which is good, because there's always KNF support and those things to answer you. So I also just wanted to say I put up at knffarm.com. I talked to my wife and I put this up and I got it all together, and I'm happy to announce that I have 2 classes planned and actually live, and you can sign up right now. So I got November 6th through 12th, 2023, and January 13th to 19th, 2024. So I got one at the end of this year and then one at the beginning of the next new coming 2024, assuming we live that long and make it that far. That'd be awesome. But you can sign up right now and get onto this. And, I think I got a couple options available. Let me just go to it. There are 1 person in a cottage. You get your own private cottage. I only have 3 cottages, so there's only 3 of these available. There's 2 people in 1 cottage, so 2 of you can go in the same cottage, and they're really nice. It's a queen bed or a king bed, so you're gonna have, or we can also throw down a futon. We got some futons if you want. So potentially you could even fit 3 people in there, 3 or 4. It depends how small you are. It's like those tents, right? It says it fits 10 people. It's like 2 dudes are like squeezed in there. Like, how the heck does this say 10 people? Or you can camp, which last time we had 2 or 3 campers, at least 2. Brittany and Lila. Anyway, sorry, I was blanking on your name right now, but you're super awesome. I know you. And you can also stay some other place and just get the class. So you can stay, make your own arrangements, get your own car, deal with your own food, go stay someplace nearby, hopefully. Or if you're local, you want to just join the class, you can join the class and no lodging. So there's that option as well. So I got all these options here of how to do it. You're staying at the farm for a week-long full immersion training. We do, level 1, teaching you how to use everything. Level 2, how to make everything. Level 3, how to teach it and be a good mentor and be a good teacher and discover more on your own and set you up to be successful, to be an actual promulgator of this stuff. So all 3 of those, and Mark is saying in the chat that he stayed here and highly recommends staying on the farm. Major enhancement to your learning experience. And it definitely is. Ben was here. He really enjoyed it, So just let you know, knffarm.com, the courses are live right now. You can sign up. And there is, somewhat limited space for the cottages. There's only 3 of them. So make sure, if you really want to be here, do it sooner than later. And then if, there's always options to stay somewhere else and, or camp, and, there's about 4 to 6 camping spots, that are, reasonable here. Yeah. So anyway, I got that up. That'll be good for you. If you haven't done it and you're waiting, I would do it. I think you guys can hear me. I resume the stream. Yeah, the ants just kicked the circuit board off. Killed my computer this time instead of the internet. So now the translation did definitely stop right where it was. But that's okay. It's something I can resume. Papa Cuddler certificate. Yeah. Come see, hang out with my pigs. I got my light off now. Let's see, I can turn that back on. Maybe that's why I blew the circuit. I don't know if I'm putting too much power through here. It doesn't seem, it's only started to be a problem recently. So hopefully you guys can hear me still. Anybody? I just, I I hope it's all good on that. Anyway, I'm glad this computer starts up fast and the circuit's only right outside to go grab and bring around. But let's take the last, double check you guys can hear me, but let's take the last 8 minutes here and go over the presentation from Master Cho. Yeah, okay. Awesome. So I'm surprised I can bring all this up so quick, but it's all good. So yeah, anyway, I got blown off the internet. The computer just checked out. But anyway, the class is happening here. So this week, last week we went over, I'm live on this. Okay, good. Last week we went over, what was this? The natural farming products. We talked about, the reason to use natural farming. And again, we're on slide 192 of a lot. And so we're going to go over the globalization of natural farming. And, you ever thought of global as like a global, like the sun, so it's like a sun organization. You're, sun worshiping. If you're the globalists, they're sun worshipers, right? Global. Anyway, fun hidden little esoteric fact there, but let's dive into it. This is Master Cho's presentation. Thanks, Master Cho. We're going to go in and say that natural farming has a great history of over 50 years. The foundation of natural farming was laid in Korea in 1967 when Less Labor, High Yield Farming Club was established by Han-Kyu Cho. Since then, Master Cho introduced the natural farming to other Asian countries such as Japan, China, and the Philippines, as well as regions of Korea. The natural farming activities gained an earnest momentum after its legal entity was approved by the Minister of Agriculture and Forestry in 1994. So for almost 30 years, they were operating without a legal entity. And similar to what I did here in Hawaii, I ran a natural farming club that we started out of Gil Karangdang's expertise in coming. And I ran a club meeting for 8 years. And that's largely how the legal entities and these things spawned in Hawaii. Not saying it was all me. It was Dr. Park that started it. But I showed up every month, every second Tuesday from 6 to 8 p.m. and ran a natural farming meeting. And it was great. And it really, and this is a similar thing. I didn't call it Korean natural farming. It's similar to Less Labor and High Yield Farming Club. Mine was just called, Natural Farming Hawaii meeting, just natural farmers meeting. It wasn't even formal enough to have a title name. Only later did entities start to show up and start to be claim and have power struggles and have drama and have all that crazy crap. That if you weren't there for the 2018 blow up, you're lucky. And just ignore anything that happened because I'm still here. I'm still showing up. In fact, now I'm reaching out to this global audience, doing these things. And, that's really what it takes more than this official, I'm the president, you're banned. It's oh my God, what are you talking about? Anyway, if you weren't there, I laugh at it now, but people really tried to claim this stuff and think legal entities gave them power and gave them control. And it's no, power and control come from balance, dedication, persistence, love, and you can't stop someone who's powerful from continuing to do this. So if you want to start it in your area, which I recommend, this is the way. Just start a club and call it Less Labor, High Yield Farming Club, or, whatever, choose your own name. And start meeting up. Don't try to be knighted by someone to be you're official this and that. Even my certifications that I give out at farming, it's not I got the certification, I'm official, you can't do it, only I can. It's no. It just means that you've been here and probably more than most folks because I try to give you everything when you're here. But that's how these things started. So far, going back to the slide, it says so far over 1,800 people have been trained in Natural Farming Institute at the Natural Farming Institute in the basic and topic-specific advanced training courses. Natural farming has also been introduced to over 30 countries. It is living proof that natural farming, which relies on indigenous microorganisms, can be localized not only in Korea, but also in other countries. And so Master Cho, taught 1,800 people. We estimate here in Hawaii and when I used to go to like America and stuff and you know, in these trainings, we've educated over like 30,000 people. Just, you know, Dr. Park alone, we estimated one time, this was like back in 2011, we estimated he had trained 20,000 people by himself. And I think I just wrote down the other day that I'd trained like 4,000 people, but probably more than that. I bet you my number's like up about 10,000 around there of people. And then people that have come through here, through this farm, the number is probably around 500 or so, or maybe not that much, 300, 500, somewhere in there, of like lots of people and, you know, students and teaching and workshops and seminars that I've helped facilitate and run. You know, I bet you I've trained about 10,000 people. I don't know, give or take. You know, I'm not trying to be like, oh, look at me. I'm just trying to say, like, lots of people know out there, but, you know, where is it? Like, so we need to teach more and continue, because there's billions of people, and 1,800, you know, 18,000, 7 billion divided by 18,000 or 30,000 or even 100,000 at this point is pretty darn minuscule. So getting out there, teaching more people, bringing these methods to the people, you can do it. And it works anywhere, every country, every place, everything. It does, it works. So, yeah, I love the Natural Farming Club Hot Pot Nights. Yeah. Do it in your place, make it happen. You don't even have to have an official entity. You can run for 30 years without an official entity. And in fact, I'd recommend against official entities too early, too often. It's until you get core members you can truly trust. And even then, be careful. As soon as you bring in money, it's probably going to get destroyed. As soon as you create power, as soon as you create anything, people, the nastiness in people will arise. So be careful. Just do it from the love, do it from the heart. So anyway, returning to the slide, the power and advantage of natural farming are now recognized worldwide, including excellent high-quality productivity and low-cost. Natural farming philosophy is based on respecting livestock well-being, plant well-being, as well as human well-being and microorganism well-being. What else do you need? Well-being. It's based on well-being. Be well. Which is kind of funny because, yeah. So natural farming is being practiced in developing countries and organizations to foster the spirit of independence on improving their lives. So again, you know, teach you're independent. Like it's this thing of like, you know, you learn, but you go out and you're independent. Just like I learned from Master Cho, and then I was independent here to like make this happen and do it. It's like, it's not like this thing of like, you didn't do it right and blah, 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 you know. He comes and he refines me and he'll punch me, you know, not anymore, but he, you know, used to. But it's like, you know, I'm just trying my best. And not to say you don't have discipline and all those things. So we will do our best to keep restoring and protecting our environment while maintaining the trusted quality standards of farm product, right? So it's based on, you know, do your best, protect your environment, and do your best to produce high quality products that are truly to the nature and the essence and the spirit of it, right? If you're just like saying, oh, I'm certified, and then slapping this stuff on there and being like, yeah, it's natural farming, and you're not even doing it. It's like, what the heck's the point? It's each of us as individuals. This is like a sovereignty thing. This is like your most power comes to you, and you need to be the example, you know? Are you behaving well when no one's looking? You know, just because someone's not there to be like, you know, it's like you know, say like, oh, I'm gluten intolerant, but when no one's around, you're pounding cookies, and when people are there, you're like, I'm gluten intolerant, I can't eat that. It's like, you know, I'm not anything against people that are truly gluten intolerant, but I'm talking about people that like make, you know, I don't know. I just watched a JP Sears on gluten intolerance. It's pretty funny. That's why I was thinking of that. But it's like, when no one's around, are you staying true to your integrity and your principles and your mission? You know, are you really embodying the quality of natural farming? So, and then Master Cho, one of his most famous things is a planting project he did in the Gobi Desert, which is like the driest place on earth. And there's only a few plants in the Gobi Desert with only a few inches of rainfall per year. Natural farming is being established under the harsh environment of the Gobi Desert. Trees are blooming in the spring, and they have survived under the fierce, sandy winds of the Gobi Desert. How is he doing it? IMOs, biochar, the proper way to plant trees. And so he went to the Gobi Desert and did this and made it green the Gobi Desert, right? So it works there. The Central Gobi Desert, the Dream Oasis project of establishing a 200-hectare farm in the desert is progressing, where trees are planted, crops are raised, wells are drilled to get underground water, and watermelon farming provides stable income to the farmers. So he's able to go into these arid places and with natural farming, bring them back to life, bring prosperity to the farmers, uplift their quality of life, and make all this happen, right? Build an oasis in the desert. What could be better proof than it working? Trees planted in the desert based on natural farming methodology grew 15 to 20 feet high in 3 years with an astonishing 97% survival rate. So everyone out there trying to reforest areas and green the desert, natural farming, 97% survival rate. These trees were selected based on their strong endurance to the harsh desert environment. Corns and barnyard grasses were planted in the desert to make livestock feed. Look at those watermelons. This is the Gobi Desert. Look at that greening. It's not like they're irrigating a whole lot. It's the natural farming. They're pulling water out of the air. They're using the power of the microbes. So here's looking at, I don't know, mostly Korean. I can't really read that. It's too small here. But looking at the Earth here, I think all these places that have little dots are places that he's brought Korean natural farming. Hawaii, right there in the center. Yep, that's me. I'm out in this big ocean. But it's traveled all over, you know. I don't know. It does say USA, yeah. And definitely I've brought to USA, and so has a few other folks. And Cheryl out there in Idaho, one of the best. And, you know, all the students out there, there's tons of people doing natural farming. Find them, you know, connect. I guess I'm trying to help you with that finding things. But look at all these pictures of all these groups gathering all over. Look at Master Cho with his huge cabbage or cauliflower. He loves that thing. He shows this slide every time I go to his presentations. He loves that cauliflower. But yeah, it's a global thing. It's happening, and trying to help all that happening. And then, you know, thank you. So that was it for today. Next week, it looks like we're going to get into natural farming, the microorganisms. So if you are interested in microorganisms, because that's what it's all about, look how happy Master Cho is. He made this thing global, man. And it's still happening. It's still going, you know, and he also is not doing so well right now. I don't know if I would trust the guy running a fundraiser for him to do it. He's, like I said, the drama and all that stuff's happened, and I'm not sure where he's at. I haven't talked to him for a long time, but there is someone running a fundraiser for Master Cho, and you might want to look that up. But I don't know if I'd trust that guy to give money to him. Maybe just send money directly to Master Cho if you can, if you're interested in that, because he does need a bit of help right now. He's getting elderly. He's in an old folks home, and he's not doing so well. So anyway, but you know, his work lives on. It lives on through me. It lives on through you. You know, long live the natural farmer. We're all here together trying to make these things happen. Do I still pick up other people's trash when no one's looking? I don't necessarily pick up that much trash. I do, you know, once in a while at the beach, and I'll pick up trash, sure. But the thing is that the trash is like, the whole thing with trash is like, it's not, you know, it's on the ground there, but that means it's just going to get buried on the other side of the island in Kona. So it's not really that much better to just like bury the trash in one spot. I try to spread trash out and bury it where I find it. That way the microbes can process it there instead of concentrating it all. But I do try to tip when no one's looking. Like if I'm at some food place and like, not that I like, you know, but I just want to tip, you know, like, not that I don't want credit for it, but I just, you know, try to do the right thing without like, you know, people like, oh, I tipped, so you're going to give me better. It's like, I tip when you're not looking, you know, I just try to be a better person, you know, and all in all. So, so anyway, we got the mycelial network. Yeah, find out when okay. Well, anyway, Mark's trying to give away FAA or sell it. I would sell it probably. You got gallons of it. Yeah. So anyway, you know, try to make the earth a better place. And Cecily, her microscope arrived 3 days ago, still learning from you and organizing for the group learning here in Western Australia to make this live soil and grow lots of vegetables. Yeah, it all can be done. And again, if you're interested in the microscope, Elaine Ingham's your person. Check out my channel below and click on it. Look up Elaine Ingham. You'll find there's a playlist down there with her whole soil food web thing there. So if you're looking for that and you want to find it, all that. So anyway, appreciate you guys all. Enjoy. Try not to darken the light too much, but that's what's coming up today for us. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully my power is more stable next week. I'm going to try and fix all that, get that together. Appreciate you tuning in through that, even getting this restream starting. All this going through overtime, staying for the long path, doing it all right, and, making it happen. Long live the natural farmer. Big thanks to Master Cho. Big thanks to the Pure KNF Foundation. Keep it real, and if you know where this comes from, a peace.